Now, three gentlemen join us to discuss the brewing tension between Nigeria and the United States. Have former Director, Army Public Relations, Brigadier-General Sani Usman, retired, and he joins us from Abuja. Thank you so much, sir, for coming around. And we also have former Assistant Director, Department of State Service, Dennis Amachree, and he joins me from Maryland, United States. Thank you so much for joining us. And finally, the United States-based Nigerian analyst, Charles Oludare, he joins me from Texas, also in USA. Gentlemen, you are welcome. So let me start with General Usman. Now, General, as a former Army spokesperson and security expert, how do you assess the allegations of a so-called Christian genocide in Nigeria? Is this an accurate reflection of what is happening on ground? General Usman. Okay, so while we try to ensure audio quality between us and General Usman, let me just quickly...
are you hearing me?
Okay, General Usman, can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you right now. Yeah, I can hear you right now.
Okay, go ahead. So did you get the question? Or should I rephrase?
No, I would like you to repeat it again because that time the quality of sound was very poor.
All right, I understand. Now, so I asked earlier, I said, as a former Army spokesman and a security expert, what's your assessment of the allegations of the so-called Christian genocide in Nigeria? Is it an accurate reflection of what is happening in the country?
First and foremost, I believe my reaction is more or less like that of every other Nigerian, that of concern. However, if you are talking about accuracy, you know that is not true, simply because those on the ground, the facts speak for themselves. But we understand how geopolitics work. That's beyond the normal thing, even in our country. Religion takes center stage when people want to do certain things. But I think it is just being used as a cover for some other things. But the most important thing, I think, is the issue of what next. And I'm so happy now the president is going to have a constructive engagement with the American counterpart, because whatever it is, the actions of the United States is counterproductive, because like it's been said, and it's common knowledge, where will they start from? Do they think that it's, dropping bomb or attacks will, save the average Nigerian Christian? And these things, will there be no collateral damage? And what will be the consequences of that collateral damage? But I don't think we'll come to that. But the most important thing is that I think there is a renewed awakening in respect of this issue and how dangerous it is to play with religious issue in this country. And I don't think America will have will really attack Nigeria, because if they do, the consequences are very grievous. It will also hurt its own interest. And what will happen to the Nigerian state? Conflicts all over, especially the Sahel and other parts of African country in this world will contain the refugee or the humanitarian problems this kind of action will take. I think the most important thing is for us to sit down together as Nigerians, tell ourselves the truth, simply because the solution to our problem lies within, not without. So the best thing is to sit down, and I don't think it is impossible to solve this thing. It is not too late, but however, the government should have constructive engagement with the United States government and, assure them about the effort being made to mitigate these issues. But far from it, we all know that everybody in this country is a victim.
All right, General Usman, thank you very much. Let me quickly react. Let me also ask this question from Mr. Amachree. Now, from an intelligence and national security perspective, how credible are these allegations of a Christian genocide in Nigeria?
Okay, thank you very much for having me. You see, one thing is that we should not, underrate what the United States, the information the United States has. You know, they have all the information, more than what we even know about. You know, so when they are talking, especially when the president of the United States come to say something, you know, we have to listen very carefully. And I'm very happy that the Nigerian president has taken it seriously and wanting to engage, because I think the intelligence is very clear. You know, you just showed a picture of people being buried, mass burial of people. These are problems that have been persisting in Nigeria. And I believe that this will be an awakening call where I think the government will now directly address this issue. Because I think a lot of politics have been played with it. Not only Christians, even Muslims are being killed. And then I don't know why we should be allowing bandits, foreign bandits, to come into Nigeria and continue to, you know, do certain things that we cannot rein them in.
Thank you so much. Let me talk to Mr. Oludare now. Now, as a Nigerian living in the U.S., how do you perceive the recent claims by President Trump and some U.S. lawmakers about a Christian genocide in Nigeria?
Thanks for that question. I'll first start with from my own personal experience or exposure. I'm Catholic from Ondo State, and a church that I used to attend in Owo, where my uncle used to be the priest, parish priest, was attacked in 2022, and the attackers came short, so everybody knows about it, and they left. And when they called the police to go after them, the police said they didn't have fuel, which is so jarring, you know. So these claims of Christians being attacked, there is no Christian persecution as the Nigerian government policy. However, even before at the beginning of the Boko Haram thing, even my own brother was also almost a victim of inter-religious attack in Jos in, I think, 2014 thereabout. So, you know, these things have been occurring, and I believe that Nigerian government has not paid so much attention to it because there's no validity to it in the first place. But we cannot say that President Trump cannot come into Nigeria, because even though it might violate global order. We saw that President Trump entered Iran. We saw that, you know, he has shot a few boats off of the coast of the Caribbean. So he can decide to do it. He's the most powerful president in modern history in America. But there's no validity to what he's saying. The problem in Nigeria, from my own estimation, is a policing problem. We have shortage of policing. We don't have state police. And this has been a plea that we have been, you know, begging the president to have to bring about this whole restructuring so that we can attack it. So the only good thing that I can see about it is that he's bringing it back up to the forefront. If the Americans want to save the Christians in Nigeria, they will need to have an occupying force. And the United States is not trying to have an occupying force in Nigeria. So their post is more to me of a social media bluster to, you know, get a lot of the attention as opposed to something that they want to really intentionally act on. But the way we can go forward for me is for the president to actually pay serious attention to this whole issue of restructuring the police, because a lot of these bandits would have been caught if the police were efficient and well-funded and are working with the military. It is a non-conventional warfare that the United States cannot just use bomb or a few commando attack. They need to keep the policing, to keep the peace so that people feel secure. So we should not overreact to it. It's good that there are going to be negotiation, but we need to look back inwards right now and take responsibility for our own security and structure the policing that we have been talking for so long.
Okay, yes. So talking about taking responsibility now, General Usman, from your experience, how does the Nigerian military even categorize and respond to attacks often described as religiously motivated like this? Because it seems as though addressing it seems tricky.
Thankfully, just I think, was it a month or two ago, the intergovernmental or a committee of the House of Representatives that is concerned with such things, particularly the military's response to, you know, religious conflicts in this country, organized a round table where, you know, various stakeholders within and outside the country were called here in Abuja, and I was privileged to be part of that round table, and it brought to the fore the most important thing. I think it is not, and I mentioned it there and then, that it is not the military's response, so to speak, but we should be thinking of stopping, this madness that is called, religious crisis in this country. And how do we go about it? It is very simple and straightforward. We have the mechanism because over time we had been living together. We had been living in peace and harmony. Why is it now that there is mutual distrust among Nigerian society? And over time, within the last few years or thereabout, the Alumni Association of the National Institute, the Nigerian Army Resource Center, all organized seminars to address the issue of the seeming divisive tendencies among the components of Nigerian society, to a large extent which escalate into violent extremism and all the rest of them, to the extent that lives are being lost. So how do we do that? And then again, you talk about the military's response. The limitation of the military, of course, they have the responsibility to stop, and wanton destructions of lives and, properties whenever there are such conflicts.
Yes.
But to make sure that there is a sustained and lasting peace, there is limitation which they can. And I'm so happy that Oludare has made reference to the issue of the policing system in this country. And I dare say, bulk of the security challenges that we have, just like you rightly observed, to a large extent, is the neglect of our policing system over time.
All right.
And unless we go back to the drawing board, Nigerians have been living in peace. Why is it now that we have all these contentious issues that to a large extent we know that nobody is even comfortable with it?
Okay, so let me talk to Mr. Amachree now. I mean, the U.S. is threatening to reconsider and probably halt aid and cooperation. What risks do such tensions pose, or such measures pose, to Nigeria's counterterrorism, diplomatic ties, and of course, intelligence gathering?
Well, when a country is classified as a country of particular concern, that country has, some sanctions that are coming to them. There will be sanctions, there will be all kinds of either visa restrictions and stuff like that. So we don't want to fall into that category. We don't want to fall into that. We've had this before in Trump's first term, and now we are back to it again. And we have to learn from the first time that this particular sanction was, or the classification was put on us. So I think we should learn from it. And I don't want to go into the details of what we are going to encounter, because Nigeria is a big trading partner of the United States. And then, of course, we are supposed to be very friendly countries, but you know how it is in these days. Geopolitics and all kinds of things are going on. And then, of course, if we don't hold our own grounds, then we are opening our doors to all kinds of, attack that could come out. And those ones could even lead to the greater picture of West Africa, where you have the AES states have already, been the problem.
Okay.
So I think it's something we want to look at very closely.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Amachree. Now, we will just quickly go on a short break, all right? When we return, we will draw more on this particular story and draw insights more from them. Just stay with us. Many thanks for staying with us. So we are focusing on the U.S. President's claim, saying that Nigeria is a country of particular concern as regards allegations relating to Christian genocide, an allegation that the Nigerian President Bola Tinubu has debunked. But then we have been engaging some gentlemen who have been sharing their thoughts on this. And of course, we have Mr. Oludare, Mr. Amachree, and General Usman. Now, let me just quickly talk to Oludare. Some people say that there is a political undertone or an agenda that the U.S. president is trying to push with this narrative. So from what you've seen so far, how has the media coverage been, most especially as it involves U.S. and Nigeria, and how has that shaped the public perception of these allegations and the truth around it?
Thank you. We have to look at the media perspective from the American media perspective and the Nigerian media perspective. The American media, they don't want to, invade Nigeria. Definitely. America does not want to be the world police. It is something that they railed over against, especially during the forever war in Afghanistan and all. But when you look towards Nigeria media, yeah, definitely there's political undertone. There is a particular sort of ideology that pushed for this classification of Nigerian. It is a pro-Christian, hyper-Christian nationalist sort of ideology that is also in line politically with the conservative movement in the United States that is pushing this ideology that made the classification in the first Trump term and agitated for it during this time. But I will not want to focus on that because we can be looking at the politics if the problem doesn't exist and it is being, if it's a phantom problem, it is being created out of thin air. Are people being killed in Nigeria? Yes. Is there a bit of a targeting of Christians? Yes, because a lot of these people, they are Muslim extremists. They are going to target Christians, but they also kill Muslims too. A lot of the elders and the farmers issues, yes, most of those farmers might have been Christians while the others are Muslim, but it's just essentially territory and grazing problems. But these things are things that can be settled locally if they have their policing. So we have to, I don't want us to lose sight of that basic solution. It is so basic. It is so, I think when I was having a conversation with His Royal Majesty of Olufalaye a few months ago, and he was saying as a young man, the regions had their police forces and they were able to police themselves.
Okay.
Your police should know you. As you are right now, you don't even know the commissioner of police of where you are living. And these are the things that are causing the problem. So the politics of it is not as important as the problem, and now we are going to solve it. And I hope this can now be an impetus for President Tinubu to actually take the restructuring of policing seriously.
All right. General Usman, earlier on you said that though there are limitations, but that the Nigerian army is doing its bit. So then, given this sort of current tension between Nigeria and United States and the sort of allegations that has permeated between both, what impact do you think these claims can actually have on military operations, military cooperation, and of course the need to end terrorism in the country?
Quite a lot. In the first place, apart from diplomatic issue, it will affect bilateral relationship in terms of military cooperation, intelligence sharing, training, and other supports. Because there is every likelihood there might be sanctions, just like we have had in the previous administration. The back and forth about human rights allegations and the refusals to sell, much needed weapon, especially the Super Tucano. So to a large extent, there could be, that kind of military backlash in terms of the relationship between the United States of America and Nigeria, as it were. And unfortunately, again, if such things persist, there is every likelihood that it's more or less like there is no winner when it comes to this issue, because naturally Nigeria is faced with so many security challenges in the air, to the extent that if America will no longer assist us to us as it does, so there is every likelihood Nigeria will look elsewhere. And of course, Americans will lose. And you can understand having Nigeria as a partner in West Africa, in Africa, the largest black population and the largest economy in the continent, and has been playing a lot of, diplomatic roles, enhancing, the diplomatic relationship between U.S. and other countries. So to a large extent it is. But to the military, actually, they will keep on preparing for the, inevitable, as it were, waiting for strategic directives and all the rest of them, and training. But I think the best thing is the constructive engagement so that these issues can be dealt with. Like I said earlier on, bulk of the solution to Nigeria's problems are within, because the problem emanated within, and we have the capacity to deal with it, even though we require international support here and there. So it's a wake-up call, as it were, for us to critically evaluate ourselves and to make sure that whatever we've been doing wrong, we should right it, so that every Nigerian should have a sense of belonging.
All right, thank you so much. Finally, Mr. Amachree, how should Nigeria respond to these allegations?
Okay, thank you very much. Just like we've been saying, that this is a wake-up call. You know, it's something that has been happening, but have been either we are playing kids' glove with it, you know, bandits are all over the place. 10 years and more, we have been fighting this particular war. You know, why is it that we cannot deal with it? The president has come out to say that, you know, the news chief or the service chiefs and told them that, look, go and take care of this. And I believe that he should give them KPIs, you know, whereby we check them every three months or every six months to make sure that they do it. Because if they do it, then I don't think America has any choice or any reason for coming to, you know, put boots on the ground in Nigeria.
Okay.
So we need to face it, deal with it, and let the world see that it is being done. You know, there is no reason why we should be playing kids' glove with these foreign bandits that have been in our country for so long.
Yes, we understand. Now, Mr. Oludare, finally, I come to you. The Nigerian president is hoping to meet the U.S. president a couple of days from now, I think, based on information available. So what do you think he should be discussing, or what can be done in order to avoid unnecessary escalation of tensions? What should be the fulcrum of the conversation he should be having with the U.S. president?
Well, judging from the history of President Trump in the second time, I would say he should first try to avoid an embarrassing situation like happened with Ramaphosa or, you know, with the president of Ukraine, and not to try and keep it civil, try not to poke him. But we should understand that I don't think we should have these engagements, but we should not look at it with rose-colored glasses. I don't think we are going to be taking off of that country of particular concern up until the end of Trump's term. We should look inwards, have the engagements, understand that they might not change anything, but look inwards, solve our problems, and that is what we need. There's also the economic situation to it, the banditry also from poverty and everything is also, you know, part of it. So if we can solve our own problems, look inwards, that is very good. Just avoid an embarrassing situation if you are going to meet with President Trump. That is, right. If I'm advising President Tinubu, that would be number one thing.
All right, thank you so much, Charles Oludare, for sharing your thoughts with us. Retired Brigadier-General Sani Usman, it was nice talking to you too. And of course, Dennis Amachree, thank you so much, gentlemen, for sharing your thoughts with us on the news.
Thank you for having me.